It is now an honor and my pleasure to welcome His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, His Majesty the King's representative for humanitarian work and youth affairs of the Kingdom of Bahrain, and Her Excellency Noura Mohammed Al Kaabi, Minister of Culture and Youth of the United Arab Emirates, to share their thoughts on empowering the youth, their role in society, and the importance of cultivating curiosity and creativity to restore hope for the years ahead.
His Highness Sheikh Nasser bin Hamad Al Khalifa, His Majesty the King's representative for humanitarian work and youth affairs of the Kingdom of Bahrain. His Highness is here with us to share his thoughts on empowering the youth and the importance of cultivating curiosity and creativity to restore hope for the years ahead. We're going through unprecedented situations. The COVID-19 pandemic has presented to us unsettling changes in all aspects of our lives. The pandemic has had an impact on the youth, their education, employment, business plans. The resultant situation needs to be addressed. In this context, I would like to engage Your Highness on a few pressing issues related to the youth. We would like to know how you see the role of youth in the current circumstances, and I suppose our focus should be on how to transform the challenges into opportunities. Your Highness, would you like to make some introductory remarks before I ask the questions?
أختي نورا, السلام عليكم على الجميع. I would like, first of all, to thank this beautiful organization of the World Government Summit. I hope the outcome of this summit and the ideas that will be presented today will be fruitful. Please allow me as well to thank my brother صاحب السمو الشيخ حمدان بن محمد بن راشد آل مكتوم ولي عهد دبي على إتاحته للفرصة and giving me the privilege to come here as a speaker and to share my thoughts with you all.
Thank you. It's certainly wonderful to be here with you virtually, and I'm sure this is going to be an exciting session hearing from you. My first question is, how does this road to recovery and rehabilitation look to Your Highness, particularly for the youth? What are the anticipated changes with regards to the youth in the coming period?
Noura, you know, you've touched base a topic that really is sincere to my heart and is actually my day-to-day concern. It's always in the back of my head. It's always ahead of my agenda. So first of all, first thing comes to understand the impact of COVID-19. We really need to understand that it has come at the intersection of one, an international economic correction, where youth were already fearing the unknown with regards to their livelihood, and to a mass global pandemic that restricted movement and separated communities into automated cells, injecting the sense of loneliness and removing the sense of community. Three, an unprecedented internet penetration, which dissipates images of the perfect life, injecting a sense of, let me describe it, inadequacy. So our youths are feeling fear of the future and their chances of survival, fear of the unknown, alone, inadequate, while social media shows the good life. This is the perfect storm. If statesmen, communities, and governments don't recognize the risk, and if they don't move quickly to mitigate losses to their future, recognizing that their youth is their future, the impact will be dire and severe. But for those countries that recognize this, there is an incredible opportunity. The community that gets this right, in my opinion, will secure an incredibly prosperous future for its people. And I believe that our King, His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa Allah Yatawwal Umrah, has gotten this right and had ordered that we double down efforts in adapting and evolving our youth sector, and to do so institutionally. His Majesty ordered that we undertake the following. First of all, observing youth's emotions. His Majesty had taught us that it's not enough for the youth to be safe. He must feel safe as well. So we developed what I call the 5+1 emotional data points that we wish to develop. For the first time, we are actively attempting to track our youth's feeling to see how we can help them in an institutional matter. As you know, perception is everything. We want to know if they feel safe, seen, supported, wanted, trusted, and most importantly, hopeful. That's my 5+1. Environmentally, we want to join, or we want to know if they perceive Bahrain to be an open, competitive, and just environment where they can reach their individual aspirations with minimum interferences. Second topic as well, synthesizing and creating hope. Actively manage the positive narrative. This is our light at the end of the dark tunnel to guide our youth. We are shedding light on opportunities. Open, Noura, you know Bahrain really well, but open any newspaper in Bahrain and see the endless pages of real jobs opportunities waiting for our youth. We are developing a unified online national portal called Faras, which is currently in its beta stage of development of internship, apprenticeships, and upskilling opportunities. We are shedding light on real success stories, from rags to riches through discipline and perseverance. We are teaching youth to plan and execute. Noura, I might warn you that you have to buckle up because you have touched base the topic of my life, so I'm going to keep on going. We are redeveloping our youth center to become youth empowerment centers. The key objective of the centers is to teach youth tools to plan and execute their future in a safe, cooperative, and in a positive, celebratory community where the team celebrates each individual's win. We teach them also to author their futures. Write your target, write down your plan, put an aligned, positive team and community around you to support. Revisit this periodically. If we are successful there, we will inject this into the education system and focus on that because we are taking it step by step. So we are partnering with our youth through Hope Fund. We have just launched the Hope Fund, whose mandate is to create programs which allows for the selection of youth initiatives, businesses, and social ventures. For financial partnerships, our job is to, first of all, discover, then monitor and groom, and then showcase to the world our success story. So the conclusion is that the youth sector has been disrupted by COVID-19 and will evolve, and the direction is clear to us. But that the opportunities to get this right and have our youth end up are rampant. We are positive that the future will be full of opportunities for our youth.
Thank you, Highness. I'm not surprised specifically by knowing your passion, the way you encourage and empower youth. You have the mindset of an Ironman. Winning is the only option, and I think that everything you laid down is something that we all, not just the youth, even us or even governments or or institutions is important for them to look into. So thank you very much. This was really inspiring. And Your Highness, there's always the question with regards to what's happening right now in the economy, the economic recovery, which is in everyone's mind nowadays. With the slowdown, with the limiting of timing and everything with the pandemic, it's important to hear advice in terms of how they can help their societies and countries in such economic recovery. Do you think youth in our region are better equipped to contribute to their counterparts elsewhere?
Yes, actually, if one looks around today, we will note and appreciate that the hopeful, positive spirit of the youth is what fuels all the new solutions of today's challenges. It's not easy. This will no doubt continue, and more so now than ever. For today's challenges, we need new solutions and new fresh ideas. And the youth are strategically positioned to provide this new insights, considering that they have not been indoctrinated by old dogmatic processes. Youths are extremely well placed and ready for original thoughts, which is what we need today and going forward. Therefore, this is essential to now put in systems to listen to youth's ideas and to experiment and execute what works. We have also remember that youths are very vested in current problems because the future is theirs. So they will do what is necessary to protect it and protect their community. This applies in all realms. This applies in this societal activity, social activities, and community buildings and integration, in commerce and businesses where they will invigorate the economy. And also, last but not least, in the social science spheres, and reformulating and aligning our social contract together. So it's a huge picture that I'm seeing, and we have to put it all together. But what is key and what is the heart of this question is, let's remember that the future is theirs. So they have to shape it towards the goal they have to achieve.
Absolutely, Your Highness. And I think with your continuous government efforts, especially in our region, to empower the youth in all aspects of, as you mentioned, from economy to social life, how do you see the future roadmap for governments in boosting the next generation's role? Because this is always a question right now with regards to what's next, and how can we maximize their skills, capacities, and roles. I think it would be interesting, Your Highness, if you can reflect on the following areas, such as youth participation and decision making, their engagement in social initiatives, entrepreneurship, and so on.
And basically, Noura, you mean as well youth empowerment in this sense. So I will stay in between these two brackets, or else I'm gonna go on and on, believe me. So there's no question that the positive effect of youth empowerment is immense and touches on all segments of society. But the key positive effect is original thought, innovation, and freeing energy and resources to build even greater projects for mankind. Let me give you some examples to explain what empowering youth does. Education. We were taught that education is when you physically go to class and sit with your peers for 7 or 8 hours a day in a school classroom in an attempt to be molded, followed by endless hours of homework. Shows you what type of student I was. Youth have now gamified education through apps, games that teach you languages, skills, and giving you points, allowing you to compete. Crowdsourced problem solving, where problems are shared with public community online and resolved. Online education, where you learn at your own pace and based on your own interest. Flexible home learning, which is melting away the age-based grade system and focusing on your capability. Imagine a 11-year-old kid doing calculus because he can. So, it's incredible. I'm a father of 4 kids, and they surprise me every day. So this is one huge sector. Second sector is the jobs. Now, this is the real deal here. To tell the students, welcome to the real world. So we were told that jobs are where you go for 8 or more hours to perform a particular task with no freedom. Youth are now freeing themselves and have now changed the idea of jobs. Let me explain. The idea of a collection of jobs instead of one job. Online portals where you can tender specific work to specific people and pay them for that work only. Individuals as subcontractors where each person acts like their own company, like an Uber driver, for instance, with his own car, free to accept many jobs or not. Incentive-based payment schemes where youths now want a part of the risk and part of the reward as well. Employees are no longer being rated by employers only. Now employees are also rating their employers. So as you can see, there is a lot of positive that comes from empowering and freeing youths to reach their aspirations and to solve the community's problems and address their needs. The net positive effect, believe me, is tremendous.
Your Highness, your answer is perfectly. It was a perfect for our next question with regards to the future of youth and their employment, and I see how you even interact with your kids of in the future who will be winning. I loved the video of after 6 years who's going to be winning and galloping, and I saw this video like 3 times in a row.
Noura, they will lose the bet. I will not surrender.
So we wait for the next 6 years and see who wins. But I think this is where it's amazing with you as a father on the pluses and minuses of a remote work. We are meeting remotely. And given the special characteristics of the millennials and giving their mastery in the use of new technologies, this question is very interesting. How do you think remote work can help support youth employment? Can this change the levels of unemployment among the Arab youth?
Beautiful. Arab communities. So I don't like to alienate ourselves away from what's so-called, or the perception that people think, because Arabs today are roaming around Mars, and thanks to you all over there. So it gives us this power. I'm already having goosebumps right now while talking about our ability to bring back our history. And I'm not a person who talks in the past, but it's very good to remind our people about our history and whom we are. What were we? What did we do? And then what are we looking forward to? So back to our subject. So the whole idea of employment seems to be evolving in front of us, right? And it seems like it's time to redefine unemployment and the way we track it and address it. Technology can play a big role in helping our fellow citizens. Employment has always and historically been physical attendance at a site, with a single group taking instructions from a single authority, part of a larger institution. Well, what we see on the ground is a changing landscape. We see youths subscribing to become Uber or Careem drivers when available, while still keeping their other jobs on or businesses' interests. We see youth have multiple freelancing online jobs through portals such as Upwork. We see youths working remotely for a single employer at home or in a coffee shop. We see youths creating content online and in their particular fields and monetizing their brand and content. Therefore, we must first revisit the metrics for defining unemployment. So the new definition of unemployment should, and I need you to think with me as well, but this is my opinion. So the new definition of unemployment should encompass those citizens that are temporarily unproductive individuals due to circumstances cannot secure an income through voluntary interactions, regardless if it's a single employer, multiple employers, whether in a country or abroad. These individuals are owed targeted support from our society that fits their needs and prepares them for future success, because we all want to thrive together. Now, you've been asking me questions, Noura. Here's $1 million question. Why do we need to redefine unemployment? I'll give you my answer. Text me yours. So, because the alternative is to stigmatize the many millions of young individuals that are productive and thriving in their own way. These productive individuals should not be recorded as unemployed when they are productive members of society. So remote work and similar innovations will no doubt change the unemployment landscape and provide endless opportunities to our youth. But we as regulators and legislators will need to actively support to provide the right environment for the opportunities to flourish.
Your Highness, you certainly gave me a glimpse of a hopeful future. I hope for Bahrain, for the people of Bahrain and worldwide. I appreciate your leadership, your wisdom, and your time. Thank you so much for joining us at the World Government Summit. Thank you.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you very much. You keep really pushing hard and bringing the best of the best around. And you really are doing a great job over there. So thanks to you all. I hope I didn't state any of the obvious. I hope I helped just a little bit. And as you know, I'm always hopeful. I'm always positive. Well, not COVID positive, but a positive person, I mean, who really looks forward to a prosperous many coming years, inshallah. So let's be positive. Let's think forward. Let's take those challenges because the future is ours, inshallah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Your Highness.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Your Highness and Your Excellency, for such a hopeful and bright outlook for the future of the up-and-coming generations of today.